can't edit out a live recording, Cody.
I mean, I don't think it would get back to him.
Yeah, but no one's actually going to be listening to the first few seconds unless they
rewind.
are streaming YouTube.
Yeah, we have it on YouTube still.
I doubt he even remembers I told him fuck you. Or he's like secretly like still remembers.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have said that to him, so
yeah, I can't imagine it's new information.
Okay, so we're live, we're going, we're ready to do this thing.
I clicked the button, we're a go.
All right. So yeah, we'll start here in just a minute.
Pre-show, post-show.
Yeah, we still have to get that opening card set up.
Someone has to get that recorder. Yeah. Someone has to play the theme song on a recorder for us live.
Oh God,
what's our theme song?
I don't know. Why did everyone go quiet?
Yeah, we're waiting for it to be close enough to 7:30 that we can reasonably start the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I was kind of hoping for confirmation from the Twitch chat that we were actually live.
I don't see
but no one's going to be in there until they at least get the notification.
There are a couple people.
We got to get.
Yeah. That's the point. Like it's kind of a wait a couple minutes thing.
As soon as it's 7:30, we're going to do this. So it's about to happen.
Oh, I recommend all of you double check to make sure you're subscribed, because I realized I was not subscribed anymore.
I think it's almost time for me to renew.
Yeah,
mine.
I forgot.
We will do the Twitch chat and everything. But for now, everybody shut up though, because we're going to start the show.
Okay.
Welcome to the Android Police podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Whitwam.
I'm Cody Toombs.
I'm Corbin Davenport.
And I'm Ryan Hager.
And this is
it.
That's good, yeah. And this is our 300th episode. And you may be wondering, did we plan anything special for this? No, we did not.
We wanted to.
We are bad at planning things.
You just won't let me do a pizza party.
I mean, who would have thought that a bunch of writers who work from home and rarely leave the house would have trouble planning something? I mean, it's just unthinkable.
That's true. I meant to get party hats, but I unfortunately did not make my way to Party City this week.
Yes, but so we didn't plan anything special, but just know it's our 300th episode. We've done 300 of these, and it's nice that we're still doing it and people still listen. So thank you.
Yes, and thank you to Diablo who just subscribed for 3 months in a row. Cheers to you, dude.
Yes.
Woo!
He's like our number one fan or something.
I'll have you know, Diablo, I tried for the remote speak party. I tried, but
we also tried to get David to pie his face for the 300th episode.
He hasn't.
I'm pretty sure that's why he's not here right now.
He hasn't done that for a few years, though. It's not, it's not a given anymore that he'll make a dumb bet and have to hit himself with a pie.
He definitely got on a plane to avoid us, though. That definitely happened.
Yeah, his whole story was suspicious. Okay, but let's discuss the news, which is what we're here to do. So Project Fi is not a thing anymore. Now it's Google Fi, and you can use it with more phones.
Wow.
What kind of phones, Ryan?
I mean, I didn't write this. Okay.
Oh my God.
She's not here. Okay. Well, so like a lot of phones, Samsung and iPhones and OnePlus phones. I mean, that's cool. Although I guess the iPhone support is beta and things might be kind of broken, but I mean it's officially supported now.
Yeah. So for the people listening, like the 4 people listening that don't know what Project Fi is, it was Google's virtual carrier that ran off of T-Mobile, US Cellular, and Sprint. And if you had and for a while it was limited to only Google's phones, so only the Nexus 6, Nexus 5, the Pixels. And then about a year ago, they started finally offering phones from other companies. So the audio just begins with Ryan like doing a massive snort. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Let's just fix the stream. No more
It's
arguing.
up now. It's up now.
Are we okay? Are we back? Okay,
Yes,
so we
we
were
are.
talking about Project Fi, and we were talking about how it runs on 3 different carriers. And if you didn't have an official Project Fi phone, which started as just Google's phones, it wouldn't do any of the carrier switching, and it was kind of lame. But you could put a SIM card from Project Fi that was already activated in almost any phone, and it would run on T-Mobile in the US. So it worked sort of. But the difference now is that you'll be able to actually activate Fi on a bunch of other phones. So it's a lot easier to do. And you shouldn't eventually at least have any of like the weird issues with SMS or voicemail that you would have if you moved a SIM card before.
Right. Yeah. So I was on Project Fi for almost 2 years, I think. But I just switched a month ago, partially because of the still terrible phone support, or at least until this announcement, because up until now you could only use like 5 or 6 phones, and half of them were from LG, so that they don't count.
Yeah, and they were like, who's gonna buy like an almost full price like G7?
Yeah.
That's
so this kind of solves, I think, Fi's biggest issue, which was almost no phone support, especially iPhone. But I'm not the pricing scheme is still really iffy, because when Project Fi was first announced, $10 per gig was actually fairly solid. But now there are multiple carriers doing prepaid unlimited for around $50 to $60 a month. I'm on Cricket right now, which is either $50 or $55 a month. And I get unlimited. Now, granted, it's throttled at 3 megabyte per second, but I still get AT&T's network. Also, Metro by T-Mobile now does unlimited for, I believe, $50 a month. And T-Mobile has some kind of deal right now, I think, around $50 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fi is a good deal if you don't use a lot of data. If you use like 1 or 2 gigs a month, then like Fi is super cheap and a good deal. But if you are up into like 4 and 5 gigs in a month, then it's maybe that's not so worth it anymore. I would like to see Google like drop that per gigabyte fee to maybe like $5. I think that would be much more
pretty sweet.
Viable.
Especially considering you kind of deprioritize the data you get on Fi is usually.
Yeah, you usually, so you have like lower priority on the network than people who actually subscribe to T-Mobile or Sprint or what have you. But man, Fi is great for international travel. I love Fi overseas. Like you get you don't have to pay anything extra. You just go to another country and you get LTE. It's amazing. It's how phones should work.
Full speed, same prices as in the US.
Yeah,
no distinction.
It's so good. It's so good.
Okay, so does this actually change the single network issue? Like all these phones that have
they will. I mean, so they won't know how to like switch networks. We think. I mean, if a phone has the radios, like I don't know. I feel like there might be some way to make it like connect to the Sprint signal.
Even on devices like the Essential phone, which has CDMA and has, I mean, it was sold by Sprint. Even on that, the compatibility.
I mean, and like Samsung's unlocked devices have CDMA. Like they're physically capable, but like Fi doesn't know how to make those devices like move between carriers automatically.
Yeah, there has to be something in the operating system that lets it switch between carriers. So right now, only the phones you buy from Project Fi can do the network switching, and those also only have the VPN thing that was announced a couple weeks ago. So if you get like an iPhone and you use it on Project Fi, it's basically the same thing as putting a activated Fi SIM in an iPhone.
So you're stuck on T-Mobile only.
Well, I mean,
right.
But now Google says that they promise that it'll kind of work, instead of telling you that you're out of luck.
It still feels a little dishonest to market it as these phones now work with Fi, and it's like 10% of Fi.
But like the amount of time that you would actually want to be on Sprint instead of T-Mobile is not significant.
Yeah.
I will say that I think Fi should be cheaper on the devices that cannot do the network switching, because if you're on Fi and you don't have a phone if you have a phone that cannot do the network switching, you're not really getting what you're paying for, because you're paying for the ability to connect to all three of those networks, even if hardly anyone lives where US Cellular has coverage. I mean, you're still paying for Fi to have access to all those networks. So I think the line for a device without network switching should be like $15 or $10 or something.
I mean, look, you're paying for the new name. You gotta pay for all that rebranding. They have to change all of the websites and the signs and the SIM cards, and it's a big undertaking. But you know what else is a big undertaking? Doing a podcast every single week. And you can help support that. You right now listening, you can help pay for the Android Police podcast so that we can keep doing it. If you didn't know, we stream it live every Thursday on Twitch. You can go to twitch.com/AndroidPolice, and that is where we have the chat that we interact with on the show. So if you want to talk to us or yell at us, you can do it on Twitch. And you can subscribe while you're there. There's a little drop down to subscribe. And if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you have a free Twitch subscription. You can give that to us, and it doesn't cost you anything. Amazon gives us money. It's like magic. So you can find the instructions for linking your account to Twitch on our stream page. We have a link that will tell you how to do that. You do have to renew it every 30 days, every month. So if you have subscribed already and it's getting to be that time again, you should re-up. Make sure we get your free Amazon money again. And if you are watching live while you subscribe, not only will we point out how cool you are in the chat room, you can actually watch the stream, and a Pixel 3 XL notch will slide down and cover part of the screen with your name on it. And it's really fun.
It is fun.
So yeah, I mean, do that. Save it for the show and do it, while you're watching, and it'll be a fun experience for all of us. But
Diablo's making it rain in the chat over here. He just dropped like 3.
He's like all over that leaderboard. Okay. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you just give money. Whatever. Shut up. All right, let's continue with the Pixel 3 Lite, which seems like it's going to actually be a thing now. Finally.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, this was November 16th. A Russian blog posted some pictures of a supposedly Pixel phone that has slightly lower specs, and they're calling it the Pixel 3 Lite. We don't actually know what the real name is going to be, but it looks like a Pixel 3, except the power button is like this neon green color. That's kind of cool. And it has a headphone jack, which is wild because Google dropped that in the Pixel 2. The person who posted this showed some specifications from the phone. So it has a 5.56-inch IPS screen. It does not appear to be AMOLED like the normal Pixels, with a 1080p resolution. It has a Snapdragon 670 processor, which at this moment is not in any phone sold in the US. It's more for Asian phones. So that could maybe indicate that it's not coming to the US. We don't really know for sure. Also, it has 4 gigs of RAM, which is the same as the Pixel 3 and 3 XL, 32 gigs of storage with no micro SD card slot. Again, that's not really a surprise for a Google phone, but there's no SD card slot. And a 2,915 milliamp battery. So that's basically all we know. There's some pictures some more pictures that leaked shortly afterwards. But yeah, we're still kind of in the dark about this phone.
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but it looks like it's probably made out of plastic. It's probably like a polycarb body instead of the glass on the new Pixels.
Whatever it is, it's a unibody. The back appears to be the same pieces, the frame.
Yeah.
It still looks nice.
It does. I mean, it looks a lot like the regular Pixel 3, like the non-XL.
Yeah, without that two-tone back, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it if they sold this in the US. I feel like they really need to get the price down there. Like, they can't sell this for anything remotely close to the Pixel 3.
It would need to be sub 450 in my opinion, because if it's over that much, it's competing with the OnePlus 6T, and with 670 competing against an 845.
Yeah, this needs to be mid-range price, but Google is very weird with the pricing. I don't know. don't know.
Yeah, and again, if it's a significant margin below the Pixel 3, it could cannibalize the sales of the more expensive phones. So I am really interested to see where Google prices this.
Yeah, I mean, it's also possible that they'll like only sell it in India.
Yeah, that was my expectation when we first saw it. The headphone jack, the chipset, a lot of things don't really jive with their plans in the US.
I mean, people will flip out if they can't buy this phone in the US.
Yeah, well, people flip out regardless. Like, it's cool.
I know
they will.
And I want to see if it's gonna if that headphone jack is going to massively shake things up. I don't think it will, but
if it hits in the US,
people talk about it so much.
Yeah, if it hits in the US and it lands with the headphone jack, people will be excited.
And you know what? Even if it doesn't land in the US, people will still buy it on GearBest, and they'll run it in the US with 3G, and they'll love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can do that if they want. So none of us wrote this review, but the Pixel Slate review went up, and it's well, was this actually a review, or did David just write?
This was not the review. This was sort of his initial editorial about the concept.
This is the pre-review.
Yeah. So David is still working on like the final review, but it's a pretty lengthy article on why there are problems, basically, which doesn't surprise me. I mean,
it's very much a first generation product.
Yeah, I mean, Chrome OS's tablet stuff, it's just there are still a lot of problems with it. I mean, I've used a Chrome OS tablet recently, not like this one, but it feels, vaguely usable as a tablet. I wouldn't say that it's a good experience. Like the on-screen keyboard alone is a huge problem that they need to address. And I also dislike that it forces you into full screen for Android apps when you're using a Chrome OS device in tablet mode. I think that just replicates one of the main problems with Android apps on Android tablets that we had. But then, and the Pixel Slate, obviously, they push the keyboard as like a thing that you should buy when you get it. But it's really expensive, and from what I gather, it's not very good.
Awful round keys.
Yeah, and from what I gather, it's not even a very good keyboard. But yeah, if people are considering purchasing this, they should go and read the editorial that David posted, and we should have the actual review in a couple of days. But what David did, I don't know if he mentioned it in this editorial, but he was complaining today about the Bluetooth on the Pixelbook. Apparently, it's real bad.
I mean, it's been a problem with all Chromebooks. Bluetooth performance is terrible.
Yeah. Well, so that's a thing. I mean, and does anybody else want to complain about the Pixel Slate, even though we haven't reviewed it yet?
It's pretty expensive. Like very, very expensive when you go past the bottom tier model and you want the keyboard.
Yeah, the keyboard should be bundled.
You're looking at Pixelbook money.
At least we know it'll sell so poorly that it'll probably be on discount in 3 months.
Maybe Google has been notoriously weird about discounts. Like, remember, they were selling the Pixel C for like 2 years at full price, and nobody was buying that thing.
That was fun. Those were fun times.
Yeah, that was a weird time. Imagine if that device had actually run Chrome OS like they originally wanted to. They would have been they were so far from making that happen, because even now they can't do it properly on a tablet.
Yeah, and that was before Chrome OS had Android apps, right?
At the beginning of it was. Yeah.
It was like at the very we were just starting to see how that would work, like in the open source stuff.
That would have been really rough.
This reminds me in weird ways a lot like the Microsoft Surface tablet, the very original one that came out that did not support Windows apps at all. It only supported the Metro apps, and which there were basically none of. It had
the ARM
like
unit.
a janky.
Yeah, with the Windows RT, the ARM unit. What was
yes, Windows RT. Thank you. I was trying to think of the name of it, and like the janky keyboard that they were trying to feature that had like the zero movement keys, and it was another kickstand tablet. Like everything about that was not a bad.
The kickstand
was not a good product.
I can't understand why anybody likes that. Also, thank you to Dayton Combs, who just subscribed in the Twitch channel there. That's what we like to see. But Kickstand keyboards are impossible to use on your lap, which is a thing I need to do sometimes. So I don't want that at all.
Yeah, I still have my Surface Go, and it sucks every time I break it out. It's really bad. Actually, where'd it go?
All the portability of tablet and all the desk requirement of a desktop.
Yeah. I just don't get it. Okay. Do we want to shill Twitch again? I mean, we kind of
just did it. Yeah, it seems so recent.
Just, subscribe.
I expected us to talk more about these things.
I mean, you're welcome to. Would you like to talk more about the Pixel Slate? Do you have additional thoughts?
I don't have additional thoughts about the Pixel Slate. I kind of have additional thoughts about Chrome OS that I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. Ryan, stop doing that.
This is from our in-house web developer.
I know. I'm committing treason. But I don't know. I'd kind of like to do an editorial about this that is actually well thought out and not just me rambling for 5 paragraphs. But I don't know. I feel like in this time where progressive web apps are becoming actually like a good experience, whereas web apps previously have been pretty hit or miss. It's very weird to me that Google's focusing so much on making Chrome OS more like Android, or making Android apps the primary platform. Like, to me, and this is how I use my C302 when I had it as my main laptop, is that Android apps were always meant to be supplementary, or like as a fallback for if something didn't have a web app. Like, I'd use Lightroom because Lightroom obviously doesn't have a web app. But Google's recently has been really targeting Android apps as the only platform, really. Like, they are making web apps a bit easier, or a bit nicer to use on Chrome OS. Like, they're working on adding them to the home screen like you can on Chrome for Android. But they're focusing far more on making the Play Store where you get software for your Chromebook. And that's just not a good experience. I mean, Android apps functionally work on Chrome OS now. There aren't really any major issues besides not being able to access external storage. I think that's really the only major left. You're still running all of these apps in a container, and it's not providing the best experience it possibly can, even though Google spent years at this point making Android apps work well on Chrome OS.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? So my problem, I think, with Chrome OS right now is that a lot of Google got halfway through making a bunch of like Chrome OS optimized web apps. So now you have situations where like you've got this like Chrome version of like Keep, and then you've got the Android app Keep, and like which one do you use? And like you might have both of them installed, and like which one is which? And it's just like it's not it's not a good experience, especially for a computer that you're targeting at like mainstream users.
Yeah, and that comes back to the problem that Chrome OS has always had, which is where Google's not filling in the software gaps themselves. They're not making good experience themselves.
I mean, and I just I generally don't like the direction that they're taking Chrome's interface. Like they're trying to make it very tablety, and I do not like the new dock. That. Yeah, the centered icons are not good.
I can't handle it. I'm so glad I sold my C302 now. I don't think I'd be able to handle that. And the stupid quick settings bar makes it so like your notifications are in a tiny top right corner of your screen. It's awful.
Yeah,
I do hate the way it handles the Android.
I mean, I've noticed just like weird like spacing issues in the notifications. Like it'll just like they'll overlap and do weird glitchy things.
Yeah. And you can only see like 3 of them, and you can't see the little X to close them individually.
Oh yeah, the X is tiny. It is the tiniest X in the world.
Yeah.
It's the new UI needed about 4 more months in beta, I think.
Yeah. They rushed it.
Yeah. Because like they were releasing the Pixel Slate.
But we're getting virtual desktop support.
Eventually.
That's
the point. Think about what that's actually going to be like when it happens, though.
I don't care. It's the only thing that keeps me from using a Chromebook like full time is the lack of virtual desktops.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that I can run like a real photo editor is Linux, and that's just jank on a Chromebook. Like I can do it, but I don't.
It's fine.
I mean, I took the Pixelbook as my only computer to IFA, and like I got by. There were times when I wish that I just had Photoshop, but you know,
just get good at GIMP.
I mean, GIMP is okay.
It's pretty bad.
Glad we can all agree on this.
Okay, so Sony is going to release another phone because it's been like 2 weeks since they launched one, so it's about time, right?
What's this? The XZ5 Pro Z2?
It's the Z4.
I don't understand Sony's namings.
Sony doesn't even. No, they do a few numbers and they change the letters and they do some numbers again and whatever. Okay, but so the XZ3 was actually not a bad phone. We had a review of it like, I don't know, a month or two ago. We saw it when we were in Germany at IFA, and like it seemed nice.
It looks attractive.
It does. The fingerprint sensor placement was dumb, but so now there are leaked renders of the XZ4, which apparently has a 21 by 9 display. So it's like an ultra wide monitor. Yeah, it's cinematic. Is what it is. Most phones right now are going 18:9 or maybe a little bit taller, like 18.5 or 19 by 9. But 21 by 9 is really, it's up there. It also has 3 cameras on the back. We don't know what the cameras will do, but there are 3 of them. And the fingerprint sensor, not on the back anymore. It's kind of weird. So it looks like it's on the side, like the right side. There's a flat area that is separate from all the buttons. Like you've got volume, you've got power, you've got camera, because Sony sells the camera button. But then there's this extra thing that I guess is the sensor.
That's weird.
It is. Sony. It's like what Motorola is doing on their phones now, except they have it on the wrong side because.
Yeah, well, they have to do that because they box themselves in a corner with the Motomod design. They don't have room for a front-facing fingerprint anymore.
I would much rather have the sensor like inside the button, if anything. I mean, if I got to have it on the side, that would be better than making it a completely separate thing.
The only phone I've ever used that had it integrated into the button was the Nextbit Robin, and it never worked because
that phone was a real problem because the button was basically recessed into the surface.
Yeah,
it was bad. Older Sony phones that had the button, the sensor in the button, were okay. Like they worked fine. And I think with technology today, the fingerprint sensor tech they could get, it would be fine. But I don't know why they decided to do this. I guess I don't know. Trying to change it up, Sony. But we will probably maybe see this in a couple months. Maybe Mobile World Congress. Maybe maybe not. I guess we'll see.
And 4 people in the U.S. will buy one.
Yeah, it'll come out
$1,500 at launch, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll come out in the U.S.
Yes,
it'll launch in the U.S. pricing. like 3 months after they announce it, and by then everybody will have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what people can't buy in the U.S. though is the Mate 20.
I know,
but Ryan has one he's in the U.S. and he has one. They sent one.
I'm special.
Yeah.
You are special, Ryan.
It is a special phone. I actually really liked it. So I used this for the better part of about 2 weeks. And the camera on this thing really gives the Pixel a run for its money. In some circumstances, especially in low light, and especially when there's a very stark difference in like high dynamic range in the scene, very complex lighting, it really beats the Pixel like pretty badly when it comes to picking up detail in darker parts of the image. It also just has great performance overall with 3 different lenses. You have different focal lengths. You can, get things right where you want them, the way you want them, regardless of how close or far you are from the subject. I really liked it. But the software is kind of bad.
Yeah, because it's EMUI.
Yeah, like I could get used to it, but I wasn't super into it.
I mean, so both you and Scott both complained to me about like how much you dislike the software, and like I mean, like, yeah, I understand that, but like as somebody who was using EMUI before they did the big like the Nougat revamp, let me tell you, it is so much better than it used to be. It's so much better.
And it's not that bad. Like I could get used to it. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world that I'd ever used, but I was not enjoying it.
Yeah, it's I mean, they've learned a lot in that EMUI now works pretty much like other Android skins. There are some like, you know, weird differences, and the UI is obviously different. But before, it was just totally weird.
There are a bunch of weird arbitrary changes that they've made. Like you have to have a 6-digit PIN. You cannot have any other length. It has to be 6 digits, which is a little weird. There's no vibration when unlocking the phone, which is kind of annoying. Just these weird little changes. The double click to camera is volume down, not power, and you have to manually enable that. It's like all these stupid little changes for no reason.
But it's got like a teardrop notch like the 6T does.
Yeah.
Is the chin at the bottom smaller than the 6T?
Much smaller. It's it's an IPS display, so I imagine the controllers even larger and less flexible.
That is impressive that they were able to make the bezels that small with IPS.
And they're symmetrical, so you have top and bottom.
That's what really gets to me about a lot of notch phones is even when they don't have like the giant obnoxious chin, the bezels are not even. And I just can't handle.
So a couple people in the comments here asked, performance. The performance on the Kirin 970 is like insane. It's so fast, and at the same time, it consumes no power. I charged this like every 3 days. It was great.
Yeah, I don't know. Huawei has some crazy magic in the Kirin chips. The power efficiency is so good, and so like
so fast.
Did we ever figure out if that phone supports like that stupid fast supercharged thing that
I'm pretty sure it's just the 20 watt, 25 watt. Okay. I can't find anything to corroborate it, and obviously the PR didn't end up telling me. But
yeah, and they comes with the like just the regular 20 watt supercharger or whatever. But the Pro has what it was like a 40 watt charger or something crazy like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Kirin 980, not the 970.
Oh yeah, 980, yeah.
And someone else asked the white subpixels. Yeah, so it's a 1080p equivalent display, but it has an RGBW striped configuration for the subpixels. So it's not like with AOLED displays where you have the pen tile configuration where each pixel is technically color incomplete and it kind of like blends together across multiple pixels to provide the total image. So even though this is only 1080p, it feels and looks much sharper than it actually is. And it gets stupid bright. It's like 800 nits. So like outdoor visibility was excellent.
Interesting.
Good. So you would not want to leave full brightness on and then turn this on in bed. You would get blinded.
Yeah.
Got it. And David Lama in the chat asked how the battery life was.
Oh yeah, it was very good, very good. Like I said, I plugged it in like every 3 days. It was very good.
Yeah, I still really want to get a look at the Mate 20X, that gigantic one. I just want it because it's so weird.
I do. It looks amusing at the very least.
Right. Yeah. I just want to like carry it and take it out casually at a party or something. And start using it like it's not a super weird thing to do. Okay. So we also had a Chromebook review this last week, and it's something that apparently people were quite interested in when it was announced. This device.
I don't know about that, but it's people were interested in it because I think it went immediately on sale for about $180 down from $280, which made it an interesting proposition. The Lenovo C330.
Yes.
And it's got a 12.1 inch 1336 by 768 IPS panel. And I was quite impressed with it. The performance is not super great. It has a MediaTek ARM CPU, one of the older ones that's not especially fast, but it's about on par with the low-end Intel pseudo Atoms, the low-end N series stuff, if I'm remembering correctly. It's about on par in performance with that. But what I really liked about it was just the overall durability of this thing. Like, it's well made, much more so than a lot of the Acer and Asus Chromebooks, especially at that, sub $300, $250 price. And considering this went on sale multiple times over the last month for $180, it's a steal. This is a good unit. IPS display at that price is not super common. The only unfortunate features are the aforementioned performance and the lack of screen brightness. It only goes up to about 200 nits, which is too bad. And obviously, like, backlighting keyboard would have been nice, and a slightly stiffer hinge would have been nice, but $280 down to $180.
Yeah. That is a super cheap Chromebook.
And does it have Linux app support?
At this time, it does not, unfortunately. So it's one of those chipsets that has yet to receive Linux app support. It's on the roadmap.
Well, I mean, with the I mean, with that kind of, I mean, if you have performance issues with Chrome OS, I don't know how well Linux is going to work.
Yeah, like I was fine up until about like 7, 8 tabs. If I kept my workflow light, it was all right, but I couldn't do anything especially intensive.
I mean, you could run like Visual Studio Code or some lighter apps, definitely.
I'm sure GIMP would have no problem. It would just like if I was applying any effects, there would be, I'm sure, a bit of a delay.
Yeah, you gotta point a fan at it while it's rendering.
Because I use the GIMP on my C101 all the time, and it works fine. It's just a little slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's the end of our topic list this week. We really kind of blew through it. Does anybody else? Anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Any thoughts?
I was trying to look at what else we've reviewed lately, but I think Ryan already talked about the Palm phone on the last one. I believe
I did. I discussed the Palm phone. Yes,
discussed in disgust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's not a thing you should buy. Well, I mean, since we've got time, Cody, if you want to talk about the thing you just got, you feel free.
Oh boy, I've been waiting for this.
Well, you're going to hear a little bit of the hate that you expect, but not all of it. So, probably the most anticipated Wear Watch in terms of like crazy news has been the LG W7. This is, if you're watching the stream, this is the watch that has real physical hands on the face, and of course a screen on the background. So I've only had this for a little bit less than a day. To put it bluntly, it's really, really irritating to set up. But I think once you're done with setup, it's actually kind of good. I haven't had a chance to like actually take this out and walk around with it yet. So I'm waiting to build too many opinions on that. But the setup process is really, really frustrating because the watch, like the setup process is still designed very much with the idea that there's no hands. So everything is constantly getting blocked out by the hands. And like you can hold the top button to make the screen slide up a little bit and the hands kind of go to this even line. And that helps a little bit, but not really. So far the watch feels pretty good. It's not like appreciably thicker than any other Wear watch. So, you know, that's fine. It's missing a few things like heart rate sensor, and it doesn't have NFC. A lot of people, of course, are really unhappy with the fact that it's running a Snapdragon 2100 instead of a 3100. But in all fairness, and I totally give this to LG, they started development on this thing so long ago. There was no way it was going to have a 3100.
Yeah, we were pretty sure this was going to be announced in the spring, and then it just never happened. I'm actually kind of surprised they did. They must have spent a lot of time and money making it happen. So, okay, let me ask you this. So you can just install a third-party watch face on it that has analog hands, right?
I don't see why not. I haven't tried that yet.
You have to.
So, like, could you only? I mean, like, I'm just confused. Like, what watch faces you would put on it, really? Because
just the ones that come with it, I think, that have the missing hands, missing digital hands.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And on that note, it does obviously have. I think it came with 8. I have to look again. But it has it. I don't know. Maybe it's a dozen. But it has obviously a few different watch faces that you can swap in. The thing is, though, in all fairness, like you could, if you were a watch face developer, all you'd have to do is add, like, I imagine maybe a few lines of code, and I think you could probably just make the hands on your watch disappear.
Okay.
Like if you can detect that you're running on this watch, you could just sell your watch face and have an option to disable hands.
Nobody's gonna update their watch face for this thing.
I tend to agree.
There's only like 3 Wear OS developers, though. So,
well, watch face developers got.
I mean, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that people develop is watch faces.
Yeah, pretty much. The thing is, I'm not totally convinced that this is as bad of an idea as we all kind of originally went to. It's definitely not going to be for everybody, but
like it's expensive though.
Yeah, if it weren't for the expense, But again, this is also like a first run product in a sense, and it's, I mean, come on, it's going to be, they're not going to sell very many of these, but that doesn't mean that there won't be more like this. And
if there already are $200 off, though.
Yeah. Which, hey, you know, to be fair, LG does that a lot. Like they come out with stuff that's really inflated first day pricing, and then the discounts come really shortly after. Yeah. So, like Sony. You know, it's yeah. So this is a lot more reasonably priced once you have that $200 off.
Yeah, and that wasn't a temporary Black Friday thing or anything. If you go to Best Buy or B&H right now, it's still $250.
I wonder if they're just going to leave it there.
I don't see why they would go back to the original pricing. That was too high.
I mean, $250. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
I could go for it at $250. I think
it depends. I mean, I don't know. It depends what the battery life is like, I think.
Yeah,
yeah. Which I won't know that for a little while. But I do also want to point out really quickly, just as a quick addendum to my complaint about setting it up. I set it up, and then it got 2 firmware updates within the next hour. So I'm going to actually just wipe this thing and set it up again, because I want to see what it's like with the updated firmware. I'm hoping that they fix the setup process so it's not quite as janky.
Right.
One would hope, but
and Speak XG7 asked what the battery life was with the hands running, and I feel like there wouldn't be a difference really, because that doesn't use much power.
Okay, so Wear watches in general obviously have, like, you know, 1 to 2 days battery life, sometimes 3 for a rare few of them. I assume what he's talking about is that mode where you basically turn off all of the smart features and it just goes to the hands.
Right.
I imagine a pretty long time, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, if you hold...
Did they say it was like a week or something like that? 2 weeks?
Oh, no. If you hold the bottom button, what it's called is just watch mode. If you hold the bottom button for like a second or so, it pops up with this and asks if you want to switch to it. And it gives you an estimate for how long it's going to last. Right now, and I charged this last night, right now, it says 119.9 days.
Ooh,
I skipped that.
I mean, I
guess that's going to be a long review period.
If you just need a watch, I mean, if all it's
and that's the thing.
Time. But I mean,
and to be fair, if you get down to like 20% and you're thinking, you know, I've only got like, you know, what, a quarter of a day left with this thing, well, you switch to this and you're good for weeks.
If all you want to know is what time it is, like, until you get home, I guess.
If you want to turn your $500 smartwatch into a $20 normal watch.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than losing access to the time, you know. Yeah. It's better than having a dumb thing, like truly dumb things strapped to your wrist at that point.
Yeah, at least it has a use. Limited though it may be.
So yeah, full review will be coming soon. But yeah, need to play with it much more.
I guess that's where the watch really shines, is that just using the hands is obviously a lot more power limited than having always on display.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually thought of that.
Actually, that is one thing that struck me as a bit of a surprise. I always turn off always on display. I actually don't like having always on display because I tend to be in a lot of darker places, and the glow annoys me. I only want it to pop on when I'm actually looking at the time. This actually had always on display disabled by default, which
that makes sense. Yeah,
it does, really, but I'm just not used to it.
Yeah, a couple of watches that come like that. It's usually ones that have like pretty questionable battery life.
Yeah,
but
I know my Moto 360, the first one.
Yeah, that was, oh boy, that was the thing.
That was a while.
Didn't the thing have like 6-hour battery life? I just remember how terrible
it would make it through most of the day. I think I was getting like 16-ish.
Yeah, but if you left the screen on, if you had the screen like 4 hours.
With the screen always on, when it came out, it was going for the better part of a day, like 15 or 16 hours. But updates made it worse.
Yeah, I remember multiple times I brought my wireless charging pad to school because my watch would just be gone by like 5th or 6th period.
Wasn't that thing using the same chipset that the Galaxy Nexus used too, like some ancient TI?
It was the OMAP, the OMAP 3 or 4 or something.
So it was so weird, Motorola. But okay, so we've reminisced about the Moto 360 enough. We talked about the new LG watch. Wear OS is it's a thing right now. It is a thing that is just not going well. But, well, anything else that we want to talk about on show 300?
That was my Hangouts beep earlier. I'm sorry.
A remote pizza party.
Right.
Maybe okay for episode 400. That's what we'll do. Okay. Or 500.
Now that we're doing this weekly. Now that we're doing this weekly, we'll hit 400 much faster than we hit 300.
Yeah. I think for 400 we all need to go to Disneyland, and we'll just do the show like while we're on a ride.
Okay. No, we'll do it in line while we have like children screaming behind us.
Yeah, these are all these are all terrible ideas. And you're all fired.
Ryan's like, I quit.
You're all fired. We're not doing any more shows. Okay, no, we'll do another show, but we're going to end this one as the end of show 300. Just a reminder that you can and should subscribe to the Android Police podcast on Twitch. That is is it twitch.tv?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because our blurb says twitch.com, and I am not the one that wrote that. I'm pretty sure whoever wrote that.
Oh, shit.
God damn it.
So
I'm sorry.
I think twitch.tv actually works.
Well, it's twitch.tv.
Of course twitch.tv actually works. It's twitch.tv.
No, that's what I said. It's
twitch.tv,
I see. It said twitch.com. Okay, no. So go to twitch.tv.
Okay, no. If you go to .com/Android Police, it redirects. So it's fine. My mistake wasn't that.
But whatever.
Okay.
Twitch.tv/AndroidPolice.com. Right. Whatever. Go there. Subscribe if you have Android Prime. It is free to you. Just do it every 30 days. If you're running out of your 30 days, re-up. We would appreciate it. That's it for the show. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.